What's up guys, it's Eric here. If you guys did not watch Noxus Cup final day last night, you missed out on an absolute TFT masterclass from Setsuko. His scores on the day were 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, 3, 1. 0 pot fours, 5 first. He scored 54 points. He was 7 points ahead of second place Goobums and 13 points ahead from third place Philip. Just absolutely demolished the entire tourney. I don't know if I've ever seen a final day score this high at 54 points over 7 games. So I wanted to review the games. I wanted to show you guys what can be learned from watching an incredible performance like Setsuko had in this tourney, but I wanted to do it in an interesting new way. So let me know what you guys think of this way of going over the games. I have the 2-1 for every single game that Setsuko played. So 7 2-1s. We're going to look at his spot prior to augment selection, his augment pick, and then also his first shop. And I want you guys to tell me what you would buy, if you would level, what augments you would pick, obviously, if you'd slam any items. So I think this is a really cool way to see if you can play your 2-1 as good as Setsuko did in this tourney. So let's hop into the first one. We do have an orb that we have to pick up here. So it is item-wise, we have Rod, we have Tear, and we have Cloak here. We have 2 Samiras, a Cassiopeia 2 Graves, a Jin, 2 Kales, and a Poppy here. So let's hop into the augment and see what we got going on as our options here. So it's Prismatic here. We have Cyber Leech, Invoker Crown, Caretaker's Chosen. So I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds. First, what would you reroll in this spot? And you can just sort of play along with me. I will press play on the video now, so if you need more time, pause it. But you know, we'll go as fast as Setsuko does. So first, rerolls Cybernetic Leech here. Just not a strong early game augment, especially with only 3 item opener. Maybe with 5 item opener, we could go for it. But yeah, really not an amazing early game augment at 2-1 with only 3 items. You're not getting huge value. So we're going to reroll that. I think it's quite obvious, in my opinion, just to reroll the Invoker Crown because, like, you know, we're probably not playing Invokers from this spot. We do have the Cassiopeia, though, so interesting. So now we're left with Buried Treasures, Cybernetic Bulk, and Caretaker's Chosen. What would you guys do here? Would you pick something here? Would you reroll? Give you guys a few seconds. All right, that's enough time. I'm gonna hit play button here now. He actually thinks about this for a good bit, and so I think I can talk sort of to. Well, actually, he goes into chat immediately and types Cass here, and then rerolls Caretaker's Chosen, I believe. Which honestly, it's kind of interesting that he goes into chat and types that, and then rerolls this here. And then, what are you taking in this spot here? Curse Crown, Cybernetic Bulk, Buried Treasures 3. Give you guys 1, 2, pause if you need to. He takes the Buried Treasures 3. Okay, so speaking about this augment selection here. Buried Treasures, really just good augment on 2-1 in general. Just very, very strong. The options that we sort of passed over were Caretaker's Chosen, which is another very strong augment on 2-1. The problem is, in this spot here with Cassiopeia 2 and 2 Samiras, Setsuko really wants to go for a reroll angle in this spot. He wants to play, like he says in chat, he types Cass, he wants to play Noxus reroll. So he doesn't really want to be pushing levels. Bulk has sort of the same issue as the other Cyber, where we don't actually have a ton of items right now. So Buried Treasures is really the most obvious option, and it's really solid in this Noxus comp because you can itemize everyone, right? You can itemize the Cass, you can itemize your Swain, you can itemize Samira potentially. You use a ton of items. Okay. Now, let's also look at how he plays this round out. So he has potentially a Samira 2 that can be made. He has this Cassiopeia 2. What are you guys doing here? Units-wise, leveling-wise, item slams-wise, that kind of stuff. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds, and then I'll play Setsuko now. Oh, and he also gets a glove that adds to the sort of calculation of, you know, what do you slam in this situation. He makes the Samira, and plays Irelia, and then makes 10. This is the board. So, you know, you have to judge your own self. Oh, and then item slams. What do you guys think? Does he slam any items here? He's hovering them. He's hovering those items. I want to go through this kind of quickly, but also not too quickly. So this is actually really important here, actually. We fight, you know, a really weak board, so he has no need to slam items here. I do think the JG is a reasonable slam on the Cassiopeia, even though I don't love this item. He has the Tear as well. He doesn't want to slam anything like an Adapticone, an Adaptive Helm, because he wants to read for blue buff ideally, and then this Cloak can just be like a frontline item or something like that. So this is the opener. I do believe eventually he ends up slamming Yeah, he ends up slamming JG even here actually to do some extra damage. So he does end up slamming the JG and then slams the tier, but of course, no Adaptogone slam. And, we're going to make 10, and this is just our board. So that was the 2-1 for this game. Let's hop into the next one here. So yeah, we're just going to go rapid fire, pew, 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 pew. Here are all of our 2-1s. So in this 2-1, these are item components here. 2 Graves, 2 Alaois, and then a bunch of other stuff. He also has these units in shop that can be potentially bought. I like what he does here, which is, I'll give you guys a sec, but he sells the Jinx and this, and then buys these units. You want to hold potential Ionia opener in case you high roll something for it, and obviously you want to hold the Samira for potential Noxus opener as well. All right, let's look at 2-1 augment here. Not today, Noxus Crest stationary support. What do you guys reroll in this position? And it's Hearth Home is our Galaxy. I'm going to focus not too much on the Galaxies, but there's definitely one where the Galaxy matters a decent bit. What do you guys do in this spot? I think it's pretty obvious to reroll stationary support for me. I think this augment kind of stinks early. I mean, just in general, I don't think it's the strongest augment. He also rerolls not today, which signals that he's really not that interested in playing for like a Zionila game. You can go like Zionila, take not today, and play for that. And so he rerolls stationary support as well, I believe. Give me a sec. Give him a sec. He's thinking. I could put these on 2x speed maybe, just to help. Okay. And so now we have our final options. Combat Caster, Noxus Crest, all natural 2. What do you guys take in this situation? 1, 2, pause the video if you need to. I think Noxus Crest is a pretty easy take in this spot. The other option is like Combat Caster. The really nice thing about Noxus Crest is it gives you that Swain so that you can play this Noxus opener. So this allows him to play this Noxus opener. Okay, now that we have Noxus Crest made, what do you guys think about like what our board should be? Should we level? Should we slam items? What would you guys do in this position here? 1, 2, and then I'm gonna hit play, and we can just watch what Setsuko does in this position. As he sells some units, buys the extra Samira, and I honestly don't recall what he does here. So I think if I want to talk through my thought process on this, I think it's pretty reasonable to level in a spot like this. You have a 2-starred Graves, and item slam wise, I actually like Crown Guard a lot on this Swain unit, but I'm actually not 100%. I don't recall 100% what he did in this game. There's a Demon Flare player in the lobby, though that doesn't really change things too much. So yeah, it looks like he does not opt to level here. He does put the Noxus Crest onto the Graves here, and he knows he's gonna, because he didn't level, like he's going to lose this fight, so he slams nothing. So that's what he does on 2-1 in this game, and there's no way to make 10 gold with this board, so he just opts to not make 10. So yeah, this is his opener. All right, on to the next one. This is his opener. This game, he has 3 Noxus units, and he also has all of this stuff. He has this Quinn and this Rek'Sai here. Are you selling anything right before at 1-4? These are items, by the way. I think he does here. Makes perfect sense. Quinn, Rek'Sai, kind of just like not very interesting units, so I'm down to sell them and pick up the rest of our shop. So yeah. All right, this is a spicy one. Gargantuan Resolve Bilgewater Crest 3's Company. What are you rerolling here from the start? I think pretty reasonable here to reroll Bilgewater Crest. We only have the Graves. You don't really want to play around Bilgewater here. He checks Ixtal, and it is Wind, which is extra information. He's going to reroll that and reroll Bilgewater Crest here. And I believe he might actually, yeah, I think he calls his comp already here, which is Nico, and takes their Gargantuan Resolve. So interesting opening here. Also of note, we're in sorry for not giving you guys this information, because this one actually matters a decent bit. We're in the galaxy where you get the extra rerolls. So he opts to just force Nico from this spot. I think like this is one I was a little bit afraid of, because we have no Nikos, but he does have a Noxus opener. The Swain item holds really, really well for the Nico. He ends up playing like a pretty cool opener where he just item holds the entire early game for Swain, uses free rerolls here to hit like a few upgrades. Like he hits this gen, but this gen's kind of fake. But like ideally he wants to hit like the Samira, he wants to hit like the Cassiopeia, that kind of stuff. And so like he uses these free rerolls to hit these upgrades, hits the Samira, hits a Irelia 2, and then ends up leveling here. So I sped it up a little bit, but such is life. And then he Titans Resolve the Swain. But really, really cool opener that he plays this game. I'll skip ahead just to show you guys a little bit. And he uses the Swain to item hold, picks up the Taric, and then eventually he actually hits an insane 3-2 augment. He hits Double Trouble, and then ends up playing into the Nico board and does very, very well. So that was game 3. Let's hop into game 4. I like how we sort of start to see some consistency around the units that he's holding. Wow, he really likes these Noxus units because they're good early game. He also likes these Ionia units, of course. So these are the units that we're holding. Potential Noxus opener. There's also potential Ionia opener, some Malzes and Alawies as well. And then we have tier, chain, and belt here. What do we got from our augment here? Built diff, Comet Caster, Caretaker's Favor here. So what are you guys interested in picking here? What do you guys want to reroll? I think pretty obvious to reroll Built Diff. I think this augment sucks. He is really not a fan of Comet Caster. I think Comet Caster is a decent starting augment, but he rolls into scope weapons immediately. Really, really nice augment just in TFT. In this meta in general, because so many units use it. You can reroll the other ones. I'm like not, very interested in taking something like Shimmering Inventors here. He actually looks at Built Diff for a sec, but I don't know. I would be very, very shocked for him to take Built Different here. Rolls Built Different, hits Rift Walk, which is hilarious, and then hits the Scope Weapons here. But now, his opener is 2-1's actually a little bit awkward here. What board do you play in this situation? Because you don't have Noxus to play. You don't actually have Ionia to play either. You kind of have to just sort of scrap together a board to play. I believe I don't remember what he does in this spot, just, spitballing. You could either, I feel like you can just play the Bastion frontline, and then you can either play Malzahar, or you can play just like a Cassiopeia as your backline. I feel like the Malz 2 should probably be it. It should just be like Malz plus the Bastions. He opts for Malz plus these Challengers, which, decent units. And then he's going to opt for the Protector's Vow Slam as well, item slam wise. I think Protector's Vow, when you have these items, is, just in general, a really good slam. It's just one of the strongest items in the game right now. It plays really well on Shen and plays really well on Swain, which are, with the scoped weapons, you are probably going to be playing towards either a Shen frontline or a Swain frontline, either playing Ionia or playing Noxus. So the Protector's Vow, really good item on both. Leaves the belt open for potential Nashers if you play towards the Noxus setup. And, if you play towards Ionia, then it can be like Guard Breaker. So it keeps open a really good component. And this allows you to actually like kill the Swain. It's very possible that if you don't slam Protectors there, you don't kill the Swain, you don't save that HP. So that's what he does. And he doesn't level, notably, because his board's pretty weak. There's actually not much to level here. And yeah, him playing the Challengers, actually, it's probably better than what I said, the Bastion thing. Like, Bastion is better frontline for the Malz, sure, but this actually allows him to kill a unit, where it's very plausible that he wouldn't kill a unit if he did not. So just goes to show, who would have thought Setsuko knows 2-1 better than I do, but cool to look at. All right, let's go into the next game. So that was game 4. This is game 5. So we have Samir pair, Jin pair. We have a Swain. We have a Taric, and these units, we can also buy anything out we want in shop. So do you want to buy anything in this shop here? I am not that interested in it. He ends up selling the Taric there and picks up 2 Kales plus a Malzahar. All right, another prismatic start. And of note, we are in the Galaxy Vandal Cafeteria, where you get a spatula here. So you can also see his items in this situation. So what do we want to lean toward with these items? Bow, glove, and sword, plus the spatula here. So first, let's look at what we can roll into. We roll that first augment, which was the Leech again. As you can see, he really... That was Leech, right? Yeah, as you can see, he really does not like this Leech right here. Would you reroll Bastion Crown? Would you reroll roll the dice here after you see pumping up? What are you guys interested in doing here? I'm gonna hit play again. I think Bastion Crown, kind of terrible. I don't want to ever play around Bastion Crown, really. Someone took Bastion Crown in one of the last games, and they just like went Giga 8th or something. So I think Bastion Crown is really easy to reroll here. Now we are offered Birthday Present as an augment. Are you guys interested in this? Do you guys want to take roll the dice here? Or what are you guys interested in doing here? And I actually don't recall what I feel like I almost didn't watch this game. I don't know. It's interesting. I forget what he takes here. But give you guys a second. Gonna hit play again. I don't really love any of these. I think Birthday Present can be a nice fallback if you hit something terrible here, and he hits a Binary Airdrop. So now, pumping up, Birthday Present, Binary Airdrop with these items. What do you guys take in this spot? I am going to hit play here. I think the answer is a very straightforward Binary Airdrop. Okay, now we get a set in our shop. We have this entire shop. What do we play? And let's see what our binary component is. Hopefully he does that before making any really cool decisions. Okay, well, what board would you play here, first of all? Because I guess, maybe he's going to play the board before binary, and I don't want to spoil what board he plays in this situation here. So what board are you guys thinking with these units here? And any item slams, though I guess we should definitely see what this component is. Okay, now we can say, what item slams do you want to make in this situation? Give you guys a second, and then I'm gonna hit play here. I think it's pretty obvious, the item slams, in my opinion, and he does opt to go for the level up here. I think it has to be essentially Ionia Spat plus Last Whisper here. I just think from this spot with the Bandled Cafeteria, it's just too, your items are too perfect to play Ionia here. To not play Ionia, I mean, you have Ionia Spat and Last Whisper. Last Whisper, the most important item in this comp. Ionia Spat, obviously insanely strong. So I think it essentially has to be Ionia Spat plus Last Whisper. The level up here is pretty interesting to me because he levels up just to add like a Swain to the board, which, you know, has no synergy. Eventually it'll be Noxus, but it isn't right now. You're sitting on these 1-cost pairs. It's an interesting level, actually. I don't know. I think maybe because he has such good item slams with binary, he's confident that he can win streak. And to speak to the binary, this augment is just broken. Like when I talk about YouTube chat tilting me, YouTube chat tilts me when they're like, binary is actually not a very good augment at 2-1 because you don't like, come on, especially in Bandled Cafeteria, this augment's insane. You take it whenever you get the chance, unless you have something else that's absolutely insane. So yeah, this is his opener. This game, actually hilarious. This game, he ends up 6-way contested in Ionia this game, which one would think that, you know, would like doom you to a bot 4, but he actually ends up stealing a 4th this game, which is just incredible. The only Setsuko could go 4th when there's 5 other people playing his comp. All right, let's go into game number 6. We have this opener with a Jace, actually, which is interesting that we got off Orb. We have the Irelia with the Jhin. We also have the Samira and the dog, the Nafiri, and then these other sort of random units. I think, yeah, he's selling a Poppy to buy a Alawi here. And these are items here. I think we actually had this item slam set up earlier, right? We had Tier Chain plus Belt in the past. All right. Stable Evolution, Combat Caster. He does a quick scout here, but I don't think it's that relevant for these. I know I could ideally give you like the information of the entire lobby, but that's very, very hard. Stable Evolution, Combat Caster, and Support Cash. What are you guys taking in this position? What are you guys thinking about rerolling? I think it's pretty obvious here to reroll Combat Caster, or not Combat Caster, Stable Evolution. Also, the support item one is just not that good. I think Combat Caster is a decent fallback. It's definitely, I would reroll these two to start. He gets Rich Get Richer, which is quite interesting. He is going to roll Combat Caster. He really does not like Combat Caster early. So he rolls Combat Caster, uncovers Metabolic Accelerator here, and then he rerolls the last augment here, Stable Evolution, and hits Unburden. So now our options are Unburden, Metabolic, and Rich Get Richer. What are you guys taking in this spot? I'll give you guys 1, 2, and then I'll hit play. So I think I do like the choice he goes for, which is Metabolic Accelerator. He does have a almost Piltover opener, so you could potentially hit the Metabolic with Piltover opener. I'm really actually not a huge fan of this. I think it would have been completely fine to just play for an Ionia opener from here and just play Ionia this game with Combat Caster. He's a really like not a fan of the 2-1 Combat Caster, so I don't know. But like if you look at the if you look at just augment stats and look at Combat Caster at 2-1, it's completely like it's mediocre. It's not amazing, but 4.55, it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. And I think this Metabolic Accelerator is pretty bad here. You can't really take Rich Get Richer in this spot because you don't have a ton of gold to generate ecom with already. Like you really want Rich Get Richer when you like already have a gold opener. And then Unburdened is just not the best augment really in general. It's just kind of iffy. So Metabolic Accelerator here, and we end up, and we're also in Hall of the 9, we get an extra Chain Vest here. So what board are we playing right here to, you know, maximize our ability to kill stuff? What would you guys play in this position? I think you basically, you have to get some of these more iffy units off the board. So he's going to play for this board, which is really interesting, and just plays towards the Gunner opener here, and then slams Bramble Vest, which I'm actually kind of a hater on. I don't really like this Bramble Vest slam here, because we took Metabolic. We want to be playing for Lost Streak here, and he fields these Gunner units like he's going to be playing for Gunner. I actually probably prefer to play the Irelia plus the Samira here. Maybe Jace is stronger here. This is a really interesting choice, but as you can see, he slams Bramble here, which I think is actually a mistake because he ends up actually just barely winning this fight. This would definitely be a loss if he had not slammed Bramble here. So he ends up sort of winning a few fights with the Metabolic. He then hits Jhin, and you know, the game goes in an interesting way from here. He uses Metabolic and ends up going like third, I think. All right, time for our final 2-1. Let's look at this. We have a Cho'Gath, 2 Renekton's. We also have a Katarina that we got dropped, 2 Melios, a Samira, and a Irelia. We also have the opportunity, and and there's, I think, maybe one more item that gets dropped here, which is why I paused it at this moment so that we can see whatever the last item component is. Yeah, so we have belt plus rod plus bow here. So he actually ends up selling the Irelia here for the Neferi. So he wants to hold on potentially the Melios. I think I would be interested in actually selling Melio here, but curious to see what you guys think about that. And then augment-wise, what do you want to take in this position? Demon Flare, Unburdened 2, and Contagion. I think this game, yeah, we had Kai in the call with us, and he was yapping quite a bit about what to take here. Reroll's first augment, it's Ixtal Heart. Okay, what are you guys interested in rerolling after that? Also, of very, very much of note, he does a scout here, looks at the rest of the lobby. No one's picked augment just yet here. He continues to scout. There's something I'm absolutely looking for here on the scout, because something quite important happens. We're also Immortal Bastion, so everyone has 115 HP, which is, you know, kind of relevant, kind of not super relevant. Rerolls Contagion here and gets gifts from the Fallen. So what are you guys taking here? Are you rerolling anything else? What are you taking in this position? And I will give you guys one more look at the rest of the lobby from the scout, but really, really note the patience from Setsuko here to not rip anything immediately. He scouts the lobby and boom, he sees that Nemo has a Demon Flare Swain with Swain pair with BT slammed in Wood Ixtal. So that's immediately going to be a reroll there, and just an easy take of Gifts from the Fallen. So what I really want to note about that one is just his, like, how slow he was to make that decision. He, especially in a tournament like this is the final lobby. He needs a top 4 to actually secure first here. If he goes 5th or lower, he can actually lose first. He needs to play a good game of TFT. So he opts to just wait, see what everyone else picks. Once they made their spots, once they made their selections, he opts to not take Demon Flare because, you know, there's no way he's contesting this guy for Demon Flare. And then what units are you interested in playing on this board? It's actually kind of an interesting opener units-wise, because we don't have anything that's super, super obvious. So I've chatted enough. I've given you guys enough time to pick what board you would play here. He opts to play this board here, which is 2 Bruiser, and then he gets the Neferi in for Challenger and Shrima here. Very decent board, and he slams the Nashor's Tooth. Pretty easy direction towards like a Mordekaiser, potentially, and he's just playing, you know, his strongest possible board, even though it's not that strong, but he's not, you know, full loss streaking. He's leveling here and playing this board. This game was an absolute masterclass, by the way. It was an incredible game. Maybe I'll do a VOD review of this later, but he ends up taking Rich Get Richer and then gets a Spatula and plays for 6 Shurima and just plays a vertical Shurima this game. Like, absolutely insane game. Maybe I'll do a VOD review for this for another day. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this new format of video. I think it's really, really interesting. I think there's a lot of potential in this for sort of helping people like test what they want to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any constructive criticism or positive comments, let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.